Michigan State's defensive philosophy to what you saw when you were the coordinator against LSU, and also if there's any trepidation about running Marcus against a defense that's known for some of their hitting prowess.
I think they're similar to LSU athletically. I think that again the scheme is quite a bit different. LSU was again kind of mixes their fronts a lot more, and personnel a lot more. Just kind of a different style of zone blitz, and Michigan State they don't vary it as much. I think they're equally, if not more effective. And then, what was it about Marcus? Again, Marcus is his style. He likes to improvise. That's part of his one of his best strengths, and so that's not something we're not going to rein him in too much in situations that he will kind of realize it. By play call, by scheme, you can limit some of that stuff, but those are also some of our biggest strengths.
Mark, a lot has been made of your offense against Michigan State's defense. Talk a little bit about Michigan State's offense, which especially Connor Cook has been able to pass the ball with some pretty good regularity the past 3 games that they've played. What kind of things do you have to have your guys, especially your secondary, prepared for?
Well, everything, and that's exactly where they've created a beast in terms of they've always been a physical team in terms of being able to run the ball. Obviously, with Langford, with Hill, they've got multiple threats back there, and just pounding you in the traditional fashion. But now there's play action pass. I mean, if you looked at their stats the other day in the first half, it looked like run and shoot stats. They had huge passing numbers. They've got big, fast, physical wideouts that when you get those guys singled up because of play action and the run looks that you have to respect, that puts you in one-on-one matchups outside, and then they have a stockpile of really talented tight ends that you have to account for. They haven't used those guys a ton, but whenever the play action game comes up, those guys can be a huge weapon.
Coach, I was just going to ask you to break down Connor Cook a little bit more. Obviously, he was a guy that didn't start last year, but kind of came on as the season progressed. You've coached some great ones. What do you think about Connor's attributes?
Well, I don't like him very much because he's really good. That's my initial response. He's a tough guy, has a great command of their offense and what they ask him to do. Tremendous arm strength. The kind of the package of routes that they put together in the play action game, the single cut winner game. He has thrown really well, like you said, especially towards the second half of last season. And then they've got a series of play action stuff that he manages really well. And they're very stingy in terms of turning the ball over. And he's a perfect fit for what they do.
These guys bring a lot of pressure, like Graywood has talked about, and some of the linemen have talked about. How important is the timing going to be between Mariota and the receivers, get rid of the ball quickly and on time? And are you confident that this group is ready to step up that challenge, considering how green they are, rather than clean up?
Yeah, that's a big part of it, and that's something that often goes overlooked in terms of when people analyze. Okay, there were this many sacks or this many incompletions. It automatically goes on the quarterback and the offensive line, but the urgency of the route running, the cuts, the timing, the depth are huge in a game like this. They do a great job. Again, there's no tells in terms of how their pressure looks are coming by design. That's part of their deal of they just don't get in different looks. And that's again where both the quarterback's awareness, the O-line's initial recognition, and then getting the ball out on time are paramount.
And how do you feel about your core being ready to do that?
So far they've been good. But that's against a scout team. But just as far as the things I'm talking about, the depth, the timing, the anticipation of what could happen, it's huge. And again, can't really be overstated in terms of I know you're saying of just we haven't got a ton of reps with those guys, but the importance of that is huge.